In 331 BCE, Alexander the Great, king of Macedon, marched eastward with his battle-hardened army. After conquering much of Asia Minor, he sought to crush Darius III, the Persian king. Vast plains near Gaugamela awaited their fateful clash. Darius III gathered an enormous army, hundreds of thousands strong, with war chariots, cavalry, and infantry from across his empire. He chose Gaugamela's flat terrain to maximize his numerical advantage against the Macedonian invaders. Alexander, though outnumbered, devised a brilliant plan. He studied the terrain and Darius's formations, instructing his phalanx and cavalry to exploit weaknesses. His confidence inspired his men to face the Persian horde fearlessly. As dawn broke over Gaugamela, the two armies stood poised for battle. Macedonian phalanxes locked shields, while Persian cavalry loomed on the horizon. Tension hung thick in the air as fate loomed near. With a thunderous roar, Darius ordered his scythed chariots forward, their blades gleaming lethally. They charged at Alexander's lines, aiming to shred the phalanx and sow chaos among the Macedonian ranks. Alexander had anticipated this move. His troops parted, luring the chariots into gaps where hidden archers and spearmen struck. The Persian charge faltered, their momentum broken by Macedonian cunning and discipline. The Macedonian phalanx, armed with long sarissas, stood like an unbreakable wall. Persian infantry crashed against them, but the tightly packed spears repelled wave after wave, leaving bodies strewn across the bloodied plain. Darius's elite cavalry thundered toward Alexander's flanks, their lances lowered. Thousands of hooves shook the earth, threatening to envelop the Macedonian army in a storm of steel and fury from both sides. Alexander unleashed his companion cavalry, led by himself. Clad in gleaming armor, they rode hard against the Persian left, aiming to disrupt their cohesion and carve a path toward Darius's position. Alexander shifted his army diagonally, forcing Darius to stretch his lines thin. This brilliant maneuver exposed gaps in the Persian formation, which the Macedonians exploited with relentless precision and ferocity. From his gilded chariot, Darius watched his plan unravel. The Macedonian advance pressed closer and fear gripped his heart. His officers shouted orders, but the tide was turning against the Persian king. Alexander spotted Darius and charged with his companions. They smashed through the Persian guard, intent on ending the battle by striking at its heart. The Persian center buckled under the onslaught. As Alexander closed in, Darius abandoned his chariot and fled on horseback. His retreat shattered Persian morale, leaving his army leaderless. The once mighty king vanished into the dust of defeat. With Darius gone, the Persian army disintegrated. Soldiers fled or surrendered as Macedonian forces pursued relentlessly. The battlefield became a graveyard of broken spears, shattered chariots, and fallen warriors. Alexander stood victorious atop the blood-soaked plain of Gaugamela. His smaller force had crushed an empire, cementing his legend. The Macedonian king now turned his gaze toward Persia's heartland. The battle's end saw unimaginable losses, tens of thousands dead, mostly Persian. Alexander's men looted the enemy camp, marveling at the riches of Darius's fallen empire as they rested from the fight. Alexander didn't rest. He ordered his cavalry to chase Darius, hoping to capture the fleeing king. Across deserts and mountains, the pursuit stretched as the Macedonian king sought total victory. Gaugamela marked the beginning of the end for the Achaemenid Empire. With Darius defeated, Persian cities like Babylon and Susa fell to Alexander, their gates opening to the conqueror's might. Victory at Gaugamela fueled Alexander's ambition. He dreamed of a world united under his rule, blending Greek and Eastern cultures. The battle was a stepping stone to his vast empire. That night, Alexander's soldiers celebrated around campfires, recounting tales of bravery. They toasted their king, whose leadership turned the tide against impossible odds, forging bonds in the crucible of war. Far from Gaugamela, Darius's own men betrayed him, ending his life in a desperate bid for survival. Alexander found his rival's body later, mourning the fall of a worthy foe. The Macedonian phalanx's success at Gaugamela showcased its power, discipline, and coordination triumphed over numbers. This formation became a symbol of Alexander's military innovation, echoing through history's annals. Alexander's companion cavalry proved their worth, breaking Persian lines with speed and ferocity. These elite horsemen, loyal to their king, became legends, their charge a decisive blow at Gaugamela. Alexander turned Gaugamela's flat expanse into an advantage, maneuvering his smaller force with precision. The terrain, meant to favor Darius's numbers, instead became the stage for Macedonian brilliance. Scattered Persian survivors fled into the wilderness, their empire crumbling behind them. Once proud warriors, they now ran from the shadow of Alexander's unstoppable advance across their ancient lands. Parmenion and other generals executed Alexander's orders flawlessly, holding the line while the king struck. Their loyalty and skill ensured the plan unfolded, securing victory against the Persian juggernaut. Macedonians plundered Darius's camp, finding gold, jewels, and royal treasures. These spoils enriched Alexander's army, funding his campaigns and dazzling his men with the wealth of a fallen empire. Alexander's ability to unite Greeks, Macedonians, and allies into a cohesive force was key. At Gaugamela, this harmony turned a diverse army into a weapon that shattered Persian might. As the sun set on Gaugamela, dust settled over a field littered with the fallen. The silence was deafening, broken only by the cries of the wounded and victorious cheers. Alexander showed mercy to Persian captives, offering them a chance to join his cause. This act of clemency won hearts, blending cultures and strengthening his rule over conquered lands. With Gaugamela won, Alexander marched toward Babylon, the jewel of Persia. Its surrender marked the next chapter, as the Macedonian king claimed the riches and prestige of Darius's realm. Alexander encouraged his men to adopt Persian customs, marrying local women and blending traditions. Gaugamela's victory opened the door to a new era of Hellenistic influence across the East. Though triumphant, Alexander mourned the lives lost, both Macedonian and Persian. Gaugamela's glory came at a price, a reminder of war's toll even for a conqueror destined for greatness. Darius's defeat erased his dynasty's power, leaving his once vast empire fragmented. Gaugamela was the anvil on which Alexander hammered the Achaemenid legacy into history's dustbin. Gaugamela was not the end. Alexander's eyes turned to India, his ambition unquenched. The victory fueled his drive to conquer further, pushing his army beyond known horizons. Alexander ordered a monument built at Gaugamela, honoring the fallen and his triumph. It stood as a testament to the clash that reshaped the ancient world's power. Stories of Gaugamela spread, tales of Alexander's daring charge, the phalanx's stand, and the cavalry's glory. These legends inspired generations, immortalizing the battle in song and memory. Macedonian troops, hardened by Gaugamela, grew fiercer, their loyalty to Alexander unshakable. The battle forged them into a force ready to follow their king to the world's edge. After Gaugamela, Persian nobles bent the knee to Alexander, offering tribute and allegiance. Their submission solidified his claim, turning foes into vassals of his growing dominion. News of Gaugamela reached distant lands, Greece, Egypt, India, shocking rulers and inspiring awe. Alexander's name became synonymous with conquest, a harbinger of a new age dawning. Within Alexander burned a relentless drive, fueled by Gaugamela's success. He saw himself as a god-king destined to rule all lands, his victory a spark for greater deeds. With Gaugamela behind them, Alexander's army pressed forward, their footsteps echoing across history. Each soldier carried the weight of victory, ready for the challenges of an uncharted future. The sun rose on a world forever changed by Gaugamela. Alexander's empire grew, blending east and west, its roots in the blood and dust of that fateful battlefield clash. Chroniclers like Arrian and Plutarch later wrote of Gaugamela, preserving its drama. Their words ensured Alexander's triumph lived on, a cornerstone of his enduring mythic legacy. Gaugamela's plains lie quiet now near modern Mosul, Iraq. Once a stage for history's drama, they whisper of Alexander's glory to those who walk its ancient, weathered expanse. Gaugamela teaches timeless lessons. Courage, strategy, and vision can overcome any odds. Alexander's leadership turned a small army into a force that reshaped the ancient world's destiny. The thunder of cavalry hooves at Gaugamela still resonates in memory. That charge, led by Alexander, broke an empire, its sound a symbol of conquest's relentless power. Alexander's dream, born at Gaugamela, was a world without borders, united under one rule. Though he died young, his vision shaped civilizations for centuries beyond his time. Gaugamela was more than a battle, it was a turning point. Alexander's triumph over Darius redefined power, proving that brilliance and will could topple even the mightiest empires. As the dust of Gaugamela settled, Alexander's legend soared. The battle's end marked the rise of a new era, where one man's ambition redrew the map of history forever.